It's time to embrace it. The Community Podcast, exploring the intricacies of personal growth, mental health, and resilience in the face of life's challenges. Topics tailored for a global audience. Now, let's talk about it with your host, Bracy Goodwin.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching from. I want to say hello to you all. Thank you again for joining into the Embrace It Community Podcast. I really appreciate the support that I've been getting and the conversations we've been having about different topics that we've been on. And so I want to thank everybody that has decided to tune in and join me this evening. And of course, like I always do, I like to start off this evening. It's evening here, 6 p.m. here, Central Standard Time, talking about myself being an advocate for suicide prevention. And there is a 988 suicide prevention crisis hotline that you can call if you know someone or maybe experiencing it yourself. I take this very seriously and I talk about it each and every time. Listen, don't be afraid to talk about this. We need you. We need you here in the community. So please do me a favor. If you are struggling or know somebody that's struggling with it, 988 Suicide Prevention Hotline is 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. It's in English and in Spanish, and your conversation, it's free and it's confidential. All right. There's always hope. There's always hope. Okay. I can't tell you how much this means to my heart to make sure that I get this word out to somebody. Invite somebody, send that number to somebody, put that in the chat, let them know that there is hope. And you might be doing somebody a big favor by doing it. You never know if you just drop that in somebody's conversation or somebody that you know. So just drop it in there and talk about it and say, here, someone I want you to reach out to, because you never know. I've heard so many testimonies and stories where I came here and I was about to end my life, but I came into this building, into this church, had this conversation with somebody. So you never know. That's why I love being a good listener. And maybe you too as well can be a good listener as well. All right. So I want to make sure that I got that information out to you like I always do. And then we'd like to talk about how we can also keep you in prayer. And prayer is the key. Faith unlocks the door. You can write us at Embrace the Community Podcast at gmail.com, or you can leave an anonymous prayer request on the chaplain's prayer line. Okay. Why don't you take a minute and write that down? 214-295-5628. That's 214-295-5628. That is the chaplain's prayer line that I want you to go ahead and make sure that you do keep it somewhere. Send it to somebody. Share that number. You never know who might be needing someone to listen to them. Okay. No judgment zone on my show. That's why I call it the Embrace the Community Podcast. This is the no judgment zone. As you know, from the beginning I started this podcast, I have been transparent about myself so that I can help somebody else. And I've been reaching lives. I reach lives all across, and what I love about this, and I was just sharing with my co-host before I bring him on, man, I have people listening in Pakistan. I have people listening in Nairobi, Kenya, Dominican Republic. I'm telling you, so this means a lot to me to keep this going. So I appreciate everybody here in the States joining me in and watching and supporting it. Another way that you can support the podcast, if you want, hey, take a picture of that QR code or just put your phone up next to it and buy me a cup of coffee. It's a little website that I have up there where you can buy me a cup of coffee. Now, are you actually buying me a cup of coffee? No, you're just donating to the Embrace the Community Podcast. I don't care if it's $1, $2. Okay. Spread that around for me. Buy me a cup of coffee. So take your phone, copy that QR code, log on there, and put in a dollar amount that you want to support this ministry, how you want to call it, my mission, my quest for reaching people in and around here. All right. So buy me a cup of coffee. I think I got everything out the way there. So This month, as we get ready to close this month, we've been talking about domestic violence. So that's why we put that up at the beginning of the show. I want to let you know. So if you know anyone that's in immediate danger, please let them know about the hotline. But the sensitive stuff that we're talking about on this subject, it touches a lot of people. We talked about for the last two segments, uh, women from a women's perspective, from a lady's perspective. And then, I chimed in, of course, on some of the things that I've gone through. But now we're going to look at it from a man's perspective and how it impacts us and why we don't talk, why we don't say anything, and why we hold it in. But yeah, it happens. It happens to men and it happens to women, probably more women than men. If I used to throw up the stats on that, it's probably more women than men. But there are a lot of men out there too that deal with this. And we're going to show a quick video also. But I want to get my co host to come on because I want to introduce him while this is going and while it's playing. Great guy I met here in the Columbus, Ohio. I was about to say Dallas, Texas area. I'm so used to being back home in Columbus, but Dallas, Texas, right out the Oak Cliff area. Good guy. Just met him and we was chopping it up in the back. His name is Robert Curtis. And I'm gonna bring on Mr. Curtis. I want you to say hello to everyone, sir. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you, man. How
How
you
y'all
doing?
doing? Thank you for having me.
Man, this is an honor, man. It's an honor, like I told you, man, just to have you to bravely come on and let's talk about this stuff here. Tell
Yes.
us about yourself. Tell us about you.
Well, I'm a nonprofit leader with the Betty Walker Waste Foundation. We do a lot in the Oak Cliff, South Dallas, and West Dallas community. Now, feed, shelter, clothe, and stuff like that. I just turn some of my negatives into positives in life, and not let things like domestic violence and stuff like that change me and become a better person for my community,
Yeah,
productive.
yeah. I like that, man. I like that. We got some pictures about what you do, man. So walk us through it. We're gonna put some pictures up here about exactly what your foundation's doing. And I know you said you're feeding the homeless, man, but you're impacting people, man. I love this. I love
Yes,
it.
sir. This is a young lady that we help with some hair products where she can just go and do her hair and stuff like that
Oh,
um,
wow.
for school and stuff like that. We get good things in from some of our sponsors and stuff like that, truckloads of it. And I just give it out to the community by the truckloads, come out with pallets and stuff like this. It's a back to school event, actually, my third one, because my demand is getting kind of high. But yeah, this is actually a back to school event here that we had done, and I was giving out some hair products. And
Okay.
this is one of my friends, Beyond the Scars. He has scars, but he started a nonprofit, and he comes and helps me out sometimes with back to school supplies or any kind of events that I'm having at the time, and
Okay.
just a
Nice.
good partnership that we have between each other.
Nice, man. Nice, man. Oh, yeah. Here's the chief.
Yes, that's the chief. That's the
Yeah.
chief. This is actually an event, a meet and greet event with Councilwoman Carolyn King Arnold. She's a good friend, a good, very supporter of the Betty Walker, a very, very good supporter of the Betty Walker Waste Foundation. She
Okay.
believed in me, and for a couple of years, I've been partnering with her. And everywhere she go, I go, and we just do amazing things in the community together, such as Christmas. We give Keys Park. She has a Christmas event, and she invites the Betty Walker Waste Foundation out, and we give kids thousands and thousands of toys. So I'm grateful for her.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that, man. And here, it looks like, man, you got truckloads of stuff
Yes,
in the
sir.
background of that picture, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Truckloads of food and tomato cans and stuff like that. This is just one of my trucks that I give in, and I just go out in the community and I just unload it, and I just go right in the heart of the Oak Cliff community, and I pass out
Wow.
everyday
Wow.
essentials.
Listen, man, I'm noticing one of my good friends, Minister William Hill, he's on now watching. And I
Yes,
know he has the over at our church, Mount Rose Church, he
okay.
does the giveaway as well. He's over the harvest ministry. So,
Okay.
man, I'm glad he's watching too, so that he can chime in on this as well. Thank you for joining. Minister Hill, good friend of mine. Yeah. So now let me ask a question. How often so people can find out everything that's going on by your website here, right?
Yes, sir. They can.
Okay, yeah, because I'm going to chime in, man, and like I said, I'm going to support and come down, man. And if anything that I can do, man, I'll put on my chaplain vest, man. And like I said, my walk, man, is just listening to people and trying to help people that's dealing with life issues, all walks of life. It doesn't matter how old or how young, because you and I, we were once kids,
Yes,
but we
sir.
didn't have anybody to really talk to.
Yeah.
We were told to, don't talk, listen, but don't talk. I remember that. I couldn't say nothing to
Yeah.
talk about anything that I was dealing with in my house that was so dysfunction at times, man. So,
Yes.
man, I'm going to
Like the
definitely
old saying is, what goes on in this house stays
remember
in this
that. You remember that? You bet not. I mean, I couldn't even tell my grandmother half of the stuff. So, yeah, that right there, that's part of it. But thank you, man, for sharing this. I hope everyone can take note of the foundation here, the Betty Walker Waits Foundation here, and copy that email address down too as well, bwwfoundation.org, and support this man here. He's doing a great job here in the Dallas community, man. So I'm glad we became brothers, man. We are brothers, man, from now on, man. From
You are.
another mother, we're brothers from another mother. But we're going to talk about this for real. So let's go ahead and get into this because I don't want to take up too much of your time. You're a hardworking man, and I respect your time. And like I said, we talked about for the last 3 weeks about domestic violence. So let's start with the truth about this domestic violence. It's an often uncomfortable, acknowledge that men can be victims as well.
Yes.
Domestic violence is something that does not discriminate, and it shows about 1 in 4 men experience some form of intimidation, partner violence in their lifetime. Yet male victims report much lower rates than
Yes.
women. Why don't men speak up? The reasons are complex, and that's why I want to go into this quick video where we got it queued up about this gentleman, and it sounds like he's from the UK, and he's talking about why men don't speak up. Let's listen to this.
Okay. So one of the hardest things I hear and felt myself, but when I talk to men and they say to me, I've survived the abuse, I'm kind of getting out the other side, but what I can't survive is the way people look at me, think of me, etc. It's that, like we said, that stigma, that shame society doesn't understand. The amount of guys who come to me and they say, I went into the police station to report that I was being abused and they laughed at me. I mean, it's just ludicrous that someone is coming forward and saying that this terrible thing has happened to me and they're not believed, they're laughed at, they're made to feel ridiculed, they're made to feel that they shouldn't come forward and talk about it. An example I always try to give to people is, imagine you left work for the day and you came back the next day and you said to everyone, I was in a bank robbery last night. I stopped to draw money at a bank and these guys came in and they were armed and they robbed the place. And I was really scared and they hit me with their gun and, all these terrible things. Almost no one in that situation is going to turn around and going, oh, what did you do to make them do that? But when it comes to domestic abuse, that's how it feels. And that's kind of how people react, so it's something being done to you that's wrong. So we really need to try fix this. And a big part of this is trying to get people to understand around domestic abuse against men, the similarities and the differences, understand how they can help people in their lives. So something I've done is I've created a full course on this, understanding domestic abuse against men. It's on Udemy. I'll put all the links in the description.
Yeah, that's a good place to start right there. But that's
Yes.
good, Rob, because we talk about the fear of not being believed is real. Male victims often worry that friends, family, or even authorities won't take their claims seriously. They might fear being as weak or worse, being suspected of being the actual aggressor. Because when I went through it, when I had my situation going, the first thing the counselor said to me, and it kind of pissed me off. And I was talking to someone earlier today. The first thing they said, well, what did you do? Why is it always I got to do something to actually get, offended or get something to happen to me? What did I do? I know what I did. If I really want me to be real, I chose the wrong person. That's what I did. So, and that's that. So help me out, man. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. You started to talk about something, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
Yes. Well, from my experience, it started as a child. I actually seen my mother being abused really bad as a child by my stepdad, and many of times I would run out my room to try to help her, and I made it possible. Just so happened my stepdad, he loved me very much, but his relationship with my mother was just crazy, and he would just beat her. She would be holding on to the windows and stuff like that, trying to get away from him. And she stayed with him for many years. And I remember times that I would go to sleep and my heart would beat, and I just hoping that they would have a good night, so I wouldn't wake up to hearing the beating and the argument and stuff like that. But it got so bad to the point of where me and my mom ran away, man, and we had to go and live inside the shelter for a couple of years. I don't know if you ever heard of the Genesis shelter, but I lived there as a child. And as we got better as a family, me and my mom, and we left off, I don't know, some women wound up, my mom, she probably gonna, some women wound up going back to their abuser. We actually got away. We got stable. We moved to a new apartment, and she moved the guy back in. And one day he pulled a gun. They was fighting, and he pulled a gun, and I ran in there, man, and I jumped in front of the gun, and I said, "Man, put the gun down, man. Don't kill my mama," you know.
Right.
And he loved me so much that he put the gun down, and he cried and walked away. But that's my experience with domestic violence. And also it's another part of it that we don't discuss, you know, as far as just with husband and wife, where I experienced some of my siblings hit my mom too. You know, we don't talk about that, but we keep that inside. But parents are being abused too, you know, from their own children, you know, and it's kind of hidden, you know what I mean? But that's just one of my experiences from, and every day I didn't let those situations affect me, you know. I still have dreams of them and stuff like that, but I turned around and, you know, and tried to do something for my community. I'm not able to right now to do something for domestic violence, but I help in other ways at this moment. But I'm actually headed towards helping domestic violence victims.
Oh yeah, you are, man, because you survived it. And trust me, you're going to be coming into contact with people that are dealing with that too. So let's go back to childhood 1 minute, because I noticed one of my cousins is on too, and we all grew up in the same. Pretty much, we lived and did weekends and spent weekends, and his mother was abused, and because of the drinking that took place. And like I said, my father, Gracie Goodwin the third, I'm the fourth, beat my mother. And I remember my uncle sitting at the door. I couldn't get out the house to go get help from my grandmother. He sat at the door because he's drunk, and that's our brother. And he's beating on my mother, putting her head in the toilet. That's all I remember. I watched that and I saw it vaguely, but I don't remember exactly what triggered it. I don't understand it. And then, you know, here it is. I'm seeing this, and people say you're supposed to become a product of your environment, man. And that was the last thing I ever wanted to do. So I hated domestic violence. I hated seeing men putting their hands on women. My brother and I, when he was living, we were riding down the street one day, man. So this guy had this woman pinned up against the fence with his hand around her neck. We both jumped out, man, and said, let her go. Let her go. And he did. He let her go. You know, she started beating on him. Oh, she did. I said, well, you don't put your hands on no woman. So that's how it affected us, man. We became that guy. That was like, no, you know.
Yeah, I'm that guy too.
Right.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
though the times we're living in now, that's a love language for some women. They like that.
Yeah.
And here we are going to try to help them. And then we're the
Yeah.
ones that's like in the wrong. So it's like, oh, that's that fine line. But I despise it. But we survived it. Were you able to be transparent in your marriage? Talk
Yes.
about this, man.
I've been married for 20 years now.
Oh,
I might seem
man.
like a young guy, but
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I've actually been married for 20 years, and I have a great relationship with my wife. Some of those things helped me become a better husband.
Wow.
Because I understand my wife has been through domestic violence in her life, so I'm able to be a little bit more patient with her. I don't spaz out, and I just don't want to be what I seen happen to my mother. I don't want that in my house, and I don't want that for my children.
Right.
But that might change other men. Sometimes when a man has seen that in his household, he thinks that is okay.
That's the norm, right?
Yeah. He thinks it's normal once he's been raised like that in his life, and he might think that that's normal, but it's really not. But this is all that he has seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, without a father figure, sometimes in the house causes some of the problems too for a man to be abusive to a woman too. But just by the grace of God, man, you have to read that Bible and stuff like that to have some kind of foundation for yourself to know what is wrong and right. But some men need more help than the other man. You know what I mean?
Right. They don't know how to the difference, the two. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what my father did. So I'm going to do this to my wife. And yeah, some people deal with that. Hey, I'm inviting people to drop some questions in the chat. If you do have any questions for myself or Robert, go ahead and drop them in the chat if you are listening and you might have something that you want to ask us, but we'll try to touch on it too. And before I forget, let me just say this. Hey, Robert, do you take donations of clothing? Because I know someone that has some clothing. Do you take donations?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, so the best thing to do is contact you on your foundation because this person that I know that has so many clothing, we should talk about it today. She needs to get rid of some clothing. So I'm glad I'm glad she can give it to you, man, and donate it over to you, man, because she says she's got big bins of clothes, and I just said let's find a place that we know that it will fall into good hands and help it. Okay, so anyway, if you got any questions and you got anything you want to ask Robert, you want to ask myself, go ahead and drop it in the chat. We'll go ahead and try to answer your question tonight. If not, we'll answer it another time. But like you said, now acknowledging the problem is where the change begins. Right. This is where the change begins. We have to acknowledge that this is what my childhood was like. And so we're being transparent in our relationship, man. And hats off to you for 20 years of marriage, man. Yes, because I want that. I want the same. I want to be able to be transparent and not be judged, because in the previous marriage that I was in, I was transparent in this relationship. And I talked about everything that I've been through. And as soon as she got angry at me, she started to use it against me. This is why this, and this is why this didn't work, and all of this stuff. And then became the putting on my hands on me, laying hands. She was putting hands on me. But then when I wasn't paying attention to any of that, then she started breaking up my things, like cutting the cords to my TV. You know how we are about our TV, taking items of mine and throwing it and smashing it in my office, and just really trying to push that button, man. And that's something that I said, in spite of all of that took place, those things can be replaced, but my freedom can't, because she wanted me to do something. She really wanted me to do it. And trust me, it came across my mind. I wanted to choke the dear breaks off this person. But I just realized as a man that the first thing the police officer is going to say when he come to the house is, why didn't you just leave?
Yeah.
Why didn't you leave? You know what I'm saying?
Did your experience, what kind of stopped you from laying hands on your wife? What was
It was nothing but my relationship with God, man.
Right.
I heard a still soft voice said one word: leave.
Yes.
And that was the hardest thing to do, was to leave, because I'm new to Texas, didn't have anywhere to go, didn't know where to go. So then I'm in the process of doing it, and here's how she started doing. This is what she started doing after that. Oh, don't leave, don't leave. Come on, let's have sex. You want me to fix you something to
Okay.
eat? So I was
Mm.
like, oh, okay. So let me, and I fell back in it. And then it started happening again. Don't
Yeah.
leave, don't leave. I'll fix it. Let me go buy you a new computer. Oh, please don't leave me. Please don't leave. And so I was on that honeymoon, that merry-go-round. I was going through that myself. So
Mm.
normally it's the man that's doing it and he's coming home with the flowers, baby. I'm sorry to send that, but it was me going through all of that. And then one thing happened that really pushed me to leave, where she told the police that I touched her
Hmm.
on her vagina and she did not want to be touched.
Oh man.
Bruh,
Oh man.
we talk about sexual abuse, not only just domestic violence, but that's
Right.
how bad it got. And so that's when I decided to pack everything I possibly could and got up out of that house.
Yeah, because that could have sent you away for a while.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And when my counselor called me, he said, "Hey, man, where are you?" I said, "I'm on my way to work." And he was like, "Well, thank God, because he heard what happened." He said, "Man, I thought you would be in jail by now. But
Yeah.
for the grace of God, but for the grace of God, man, I never
Only
got
by the grace
charged."
of God. Yes.
Yeah, I never got charged, nothing. It was the detective that really realized that this was not domestic violence. This was just this person wanting to cause more harm. It wasn't that I was being physical to her. This was all something that she was just trying to do. So he did see it that way. And I cried, man. I left the house and had to go to a little small apartment. I cried,
Yeah.
asking God why did I have to leave this big, beautiful house I had and I got to come up in this small little apartment. And I heard him say this, but you're not in jail.
But you're
And I
not.
said, oh, yeah. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, I'm
Yes.
good. I'm good.
Grateful. Be grateful. Be grateful.
Man,
I'm
yeah,
I'm glad you came out of that situation, man. That's
bruh.
a situation.
Serious, man. It was serious. I realized what I was facing, man, and but I made it through it. That's why I'm transparent about it. But I'm okay with it. So we got some here. What challenges do men face as victims of domestic violence? What can a man do to recognize the warning signs of domestic violence? That's a good one.
Well, we do face challenges as victims by replaying the situation as we get older, or like you said, meeting the same people again over and over again. You know what I mean?
The choices we make.
Meeting that woman again that does the same thing.
Right,
You know?
right, right. So here we go. Here's a good way of saying it. We just came out of that. Now
Yes.
we meet somebody who we think is gorgeous on the outside. Oh man, she bad, man. Look at her. Oh, this, that, and other. So do we still approach this person the same way we did the last one? Because that's what got us in trouble the last time. Oh, she was bad, she was fine. Or do we stop and take that time to get to know this person before
Yeah.
we jump into a relationship? Because it's gonna come out like a blackhead. It's gonna come out who this person is.
It
We
is.
take our time to get to know these people. We learn from them from the inside out. Those are the methods that was told to me. And then also I was told to take your time.
Yeah.
My counselor and my
Exactly.
therapist said, take your time, brother. There's no rush. Because
Yes.
I've noticed when I rushed into this, this is what I winded up having. I didn't take my time to get to know this person. So I'm taking my time moving forward. You have to take your time. And you have to, when you see a sign of something that you don't like, because you have boundaries now,
Yes.
don't take it as, oh, was that me or that might be her? Down. Run, Forrest, run.
Run, Forrest, run. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we got another question here. It says, how do you take care of yourself today when past memories resurface? Lisa, thank you for
Yeah.
asking that.
Just kind of pray about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we gotta pray, bro.
What I do is I kind of exercise, to get some of the steam and stuff off of me and stuff like that. I exercise, just do things. I'm a busybody person, and I think I
Yeah,
do a lot of that just to so my head just stay in I've been in a good mental space.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because
Staying busy.
we think constantly. We're constantly thinking. Our brain
Yes.
is constantly thinking, and then when those past memories do resurface,
Yes.
depending on the situation, we either exit from whatever it is that we find ourselves in, or we find something to take our minds off it. Like you said, you got
Yes.
your foundation, you got all that stuff going,
Staying busy.
staying busy. And that's why I stay busy. I'm
Yes.
doing the podcast. I'm at work, I'm working at my church as a chaplain. And I had Andrell laughing at me. And I told her, I said, Andrell, she's in the background. I said, I'm picking up a new trade. I said, I'm gonna learn how to play this trumpet. I want to learn how to play the trombone. And she
Okay.
said, for real. I said, yeah, I want to learn. So, bro, I went and ordered my mouthpiece off of Amazon, bro.
Yeah.
And this is the whole step because I'm keeping myself.
Yeah, I played the trombone in high school. Well, in middle school.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I was in a band in at Atwell.
Yeah.
Middle school, and I played that was my instrument of choice.
Yeah, I play piano, man, and all that stuff, but I want to learn this trombone. I don't know why I'm gravitated, so I can blow these problems away. I don't know. I just want to get into it. That's what I want to do.
It's a great instrument, man. You'll love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So let's say Lisa asks, what advice would you give to someone in the same situation or have been through it? That's a good question. That is a good question.
You want to start with that, or
you go ahead, man? Then I'm gonna help Lisa.
Okay. What I would do is just try to, as far as my experience with it, I would try to sit down and talk with somebody. You know what I mean? Get you a counselor.
Got to go to counselor. Yeah.
Go to church. If you're married or not, talk with your spouse about it.
Absolutely.
It helps. Maybe that person has been through some of the same things that you have as well. And maybe y'all can collaborate, man, and have a little peace time and sit down and talk about it. Find you things to do, because idle mind is a devil's what they say?
Devil's workshop. Yeah.
Devil's playground. So stay busy. Yes, sir.
Staying busy. So you had, when you've gone through the same situations, the main thing, like you said, Robert, the counseling, and don't be afraid to go through counseling, and don't be afraid to sit down with a therapist as well, because those two are two different. I sat down with a counselor and a therapist, and the common denominator that they both came back to talk to me about was, Bracy, take your time. Now, when I talked about the trauma from the childhood of seeing my mother beat and how I was talked about from my stepfather, he had me do an exercise which consisted of write down everything, 5 things that were told to you about yourself when you were a kid, the negative things. And I did that. And then he said, now write down 5 positive things that you have accomplished as an adult.
That's great.
And he said, now, does any of that line up to what was told about you as a kid? Because sometimes we are our worst enemy.
Yes, we are.
And the enemy can be me.
Yes.
It ain't somebody outside. I can be my worst enemy with this stuff that I'm going through in life.
Yes.
I can be so hard on myself. I'm still working on being hard on myself when it comes down to being successful in my job and the podcast and what I'm saying, how I pronunciate and all of that stuff. I'm hard on myself. And Andrell will be like, Bracy, you did good. But I'll be like, what, did you hear what I said? I missaid that word. I'm just hard on myself, So that's just the things that I'm still working on with me, because sometimes the enemy is yourself. So get that therapy, Lisa, and get that counseling. And don't be afraid to talk to somebody that you can really honestly trust. Honestly trust.
Yes.
Let's see. We got another one here. Aquanetta. Let's see. I can see it. I need to put on my glasses so I can see it. Being a survivor myself, we have to look at the facts over feelings. Oftentimes, we haven't healed. We keep making the same choices. My experience was that some people may not be physically abusive, but verbally abusive. And that's the point. Yeah.
Yes.
Aquanetta, that is true.
Yes.
Yocasta from Dominican Republic, she came on and did her promotion on domestic violence over in Dominican Republic, where he was more abusive verbally to her than physically to her. What about you?
Form of abuse. Yes, that is definitely a form of abuse, especially as a Black culture. We can use our words really bad to tear people down, you know.
Can't we?
Yes, we can. And I think that's another part of come from childhood. You know, we hear our mother speak like this, we hear our father speak like that, and we think that that's just a way to talk, but it's actually abuse. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can bring a person down, you can tear a person up like that, and that is a form of abuse, man. And I think that should be speaked about too, as well.
More. Yeah, we need to talk about the verbal abuse that happens, because it happens on time. I remember as a kid, you're so stupid. You Bracy, you just like your father.
Yes.
What do you mean I'm just like my father? I don't know my father. You didn't let me be around my father. And the only thing I saw about my father was that he beat you. So I'm getting beat because the way he treated you.
Yes.
So I had to deal with that too. Oh man.
Hurt people sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And I had to grow up and learn a lot of that too. So let's see here. We got another one, Yvonne. Alan Durant. She said here, once the abuse begins, do you have the conversation with the abuser to go to counseling to see what it is that triggers the abuse? Sometimes they're in denial.
Yeah.
And the first thing saying, ain't nothing wrong with me, it's you.
Yes.
That's sometimes.
Yes.
But depending on the person, Yvonne, you can have that conversation and see how they respond to it. But a lot of times you'll hear, especially from a man's perspective, where we've been damaged and hurt so much, the first thing saying, ain't nothing wrong with me, something wrong with you. I don't need to go to no counseling. Girl, what's wrong with you? Counselors, because some people stigma thinking that counseling is for crazy people.
Yes.
So yeah.
In my experience, I have like I said, I seen my stepdad beat my mom and stuff like that. And she gave him time. She talked to him. They did go to counseling and everything, but he never changed. Even after years being separated and everything, and she wanted to come back. She wanted to be back with her husband because that's all she really know. He still hadn't changed.
Wow.
Still
hadn't changed. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So let's see. AJ Perry said the unseen damage creates the low self-esteem. That is so true.
Yes.
That unseen damage that nobody can see, because every Sunday morning, what do? We get ourselves up, we put that suit and tie on, women to get dressed and put that that makeup on, and go in church and lift those hands and give God praise. But on the inside, they're screaming, somebody help me. Somebody help me.
Yes.
So it's the unseen damage that creates that low self-esteem, right? Because we're masking the pain. We're masking the abuse, and we're masking the damage. And we just have to get our people have to now get to a place where we can sit down and have these conversations. I mean, I would love to continue on having this conversation. I said I was only going to do it for the month of August, but I'm sure we're going to have this again, man. And I would like to have it in a big setting where, we got a whole panel of people, and, let's do it that way, because there's so much hurt. And I think by you and I, Robert, having this conversation is letting men know and women know that it's okay to talk about it, and it's not okay to be abused if you're still being abused. So this is why we're here doing this tonight. This is why we're talking about this. But like I said, I only want to spend 30 minutes on this and talk about it another time. But I want to thank everybody for chiming in and talking to Robert and I about this conversation. This was some serious stuff. But thank those that chimed in and expressed the concerns and questions. I want to thank everybody that's listening in. And you might want to talk about this again. You can reach Robert. Robert, let the people know how they can reach you, man.
They can reach me at Betty Walker Waste Foundation on Facebook, on Instagram, or bwwlfoundation.org. You can hit us up at any one of those.
Yeah. And that's how you can reach. And of course, you know how to reach me at the Embrace It Community Podcast at gmail.com. And then also we have the Chaplain's Prayer line where you can anonymously call in, just call in and leave your prayer requests, because I want to pray for those that really don't know which way to go, don't have an answer, don't know what to do. There's another question or a statement that just came up. AJ Perry, my good friend out of Columbus, Ohio.
Mhm.
And I want to read this to you before we get off. She's actually helping out Yvonne here. Well, AJ is another. She's a life coach as well. So this
Okay.
is good. AJ, thank you for joining in tonight too, talking to people. But how can we pray for you? How can we help you out? The Embrace It Community Podcast at gmail.com, or leave your anonymous prayer request on the chaplain's prayer line. That's 214-295-5628. We'll lead this up for a few minutes so that you can jot down the information before we take it down. So I want to leave that up for a few minutes. But this needs to be discussed, man. We need to talk about this more and more and let people know that it's okay to talk. And one of my favorite songs I always play it on my show is by Layla Hathaway, The Mirror. You have to look into that mirror and tell
Yes.
yourself that you do matter and you are going to be okay. So this is a great discussion. Thank you, Ezel. Yeah, we need to keep talking about this, man. It doesn't have to be next month, but we'll talk about it, man. We'll talk about this each and every day. You can reach us, drop us a line in the chat box and let us know how we can reach you. If you want us to stay in contact with you, we'll do that. We'll take as long as it takes to somebody to get healed or get delivered from whatever they're going through, or finding help or finding an answer out. And I've helped people before and walked them through it. And AJ Perry, who's on as well, has helped me through my domestic abuse. And I always give shout out to her for listening to me for over a year. This lady here, who is the life coach out of Columbus, Ohio, she listened to me for over a year. And I came on and all I did was cry, complain, fussed, and cussed. And she listened to me and heard me out. And she listened. And then she just got to a point where she said, enough now. What are you going to do about it? You know, okay. And I had to make those changes and start going to counseling and getting that therapy. And then I got an emotional support animal as well, you know, so my Bella helps me out as well. So those are things that's helping me. So whatever's going to help you, help you. So remember that there's always the National Domestic Violence Hotline. If you don't want to talk to us, you can contact the National Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-7233. They also have a website as well. And then there's the National Sexual Abuse Hotline as well, and the crisis text line for anything that you're dealing with. And if you are in imminent danger, please dial 911. Do it. Don't wait, and just do it and let somebody help you make it out of this situation. You can make it, because Robin and I are here to tell you, you can make it. You can make it, right?
Yes, sir. You can make
Thank you, Robert, man. Thank you so much for joining. Don't go nowhere. I'm gonna put you down in the back room for a minute, but don't go nowhere. I'm gonna holler at you, man, before you get out of here. If you got a few minutes, I know you got to go to work, but
Okay,
thank you, sir, for joining, man. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, stand by 1 second. Thank y'all so much for watching tonight. I appreciate all the comments and concerns and the questions and those that chimed in, and my coworkers and everyone that has been tuning into the show and your support that you've been doing me. Thank you so much for this. This has been a good, powerful month of domestic violence, that just talking about this stuff. Join us again next month. We're going to tackle another topic. And I'm not sure exactly which way we're going to go, because this might trickle over another month. I don't know. You know, it depends on, what God says about it. And so thank you all again for following, taking some time out to watch me and help me and push me and motivate me, because the only thing that's keeping me motivated is the 5, 6, 10, 11, 12 people that come on. And this is why I keep doing it, because if I can touch one somebody's life as I'm traveling on this here road, my living's not in vain. So listen, thank you again and again and again. All right. So until the next time we get together, like I always say, I love you guys. I love you all. And that's because I love myself first. So continue to watch me, continue to support me in this here journey. All right. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for listening to Embrace It, the community podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Follow the community podcast page on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Please like and share the podcast with your community circle.